I'm going to read my article, The Buffalo Hunting Native Americans Were Post-Collapse Pandemic Survivors, from survivecorona.how. Too long didn't read? The plague of 1541 may be the closest parallel to what is going on in the world today with the COVID-19 coronavirus. In 1541, Hernando de Soto led the first European expedition to sail up the Mississippi River. As part of the expedition, they left Spain with 200 pigs, but even before they were out to sea for a week, 2 of the pigs developed the telltale signs of smallpox and were summarily thrown overboard. Unfortunately, the plague continued to brew among the pigs, but because the Spanish had such a high immunity to smallpox, the captain just ordered that the obviously infected be thrown overboard. By the time they reached Tampa Bay, Florida, on 15 May 1539, 3 weeks later, only 13 pigs remained on board, much less than expected. Relieved to finally be on shore, the sailors did not adequately seal the quickly built pig pen, and somewhere between 4 and 8 pigs escaped into the wilderness. Over the next few years, Hernando de Soto explored much of the southeastern region of North America, including much of the Mississippi River. According to the book 1491, New Revelations of the Americas, quote, according to Charles Hudson, an anthropologist at the University of Georgia, who spent 15 years reconstructing De Soto's path, the expedition built barges and crossed the Mississippi a few miles downstream from the present site of Memphis. It was a nervous time. Every afternoon, one of the forces, later recalled, several thousand Indian soldiers approached in canoes to within, quote, a stone throw, end quote, of the Spanish, and mocked them as they labored. De Soto ignored the taunts and occasional volleys of arrows, and poled over the river into what is now eastern Arkansas, a land, quote, thickly set with great towns, end quote, according to the account. Quote, 2 or 3 of them to be seen from one, end quote. Each city protected itself with earthen walls, sizable moats, and a dead-eye archers. In his brazen fashion, De Soto marched right in, demanded food, and marched out. Smallpox was a novel virus to the Native Americans. As such, it infected very close to 100% of them and may have had a fatality rate of over 95%. Because of this, De Soto reported back to Europe, paraphrased, that the Mississippi River is completely occupied. There is no room for colonization. It was over 140 years later until the next set of European explorers traveled up it, and this is what they saw. Early in 1682, white people appeared again in the Mississippi River, this time Frenchmen in canoes. In one seat was René Robert-Cavelier, Sieur de La Salle. La Salle passed through the area where De Soto had found cities cheek by jowl. It was deserted. The French didn't see an Indian village for 200 miles. About 50 settlements existed in this strip of the Mississippi when De Soto showed up, according to Anne Ramanowski, an archaeologist at the University of New Mexico. By La Salle's time, the number had shrunk, perhaps 10, some probably inhabited by recent immigrants. By some estimates, over 90, even as high as 95% of all North American Indians may have succumbed to a mixture of smallpox and chickenpox, carried over from both the Spaniards and their pigs in the next 5 to 10 years after De Soto. Thus, by the time Europeans once again revisited the Mississippi River in the late 1600s, the Native Americans the French and the British encountered were not the highly civilized and organized city-states Hernando de Soto had encountered, but roaming tribes of post-collapse pandemic survivors. Long lost, except for the Micmacs of upstate New York, was a written word. Most of their histories were in shambles, and the people themselves were forced to roam with their prey just to have enough meager portions to survive the next winter. Lethal novel viruses like smallpoxes to the Native Americans and COVID-19 coronaviruses to all of us usually infect 90% of the population or more, and only run their course after it is spread to everyone who can be infected. Please prepare today.